After 4 years, the Castlevania spiritual successor, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, has released to the public. I won't go into impressions of the game itself or how I feel about it as a whole, but what I did want to make sure I touched upon was any and all references and Easter eggs to the past Castlevania games that appear as you play through. Knowing game producer Koji Igarashi's penchants for throwing in nods to previous games when he was working on Castlevania himself, I knew he'd do his damnedest to sneak in as many allusions to the classic Konami series as he could get away with without getting in trouble. I played through the game fully and searched as much as I can, and have created a list of those Easter eggs appearing in Bloodstained to share with my fellow Castlevania nerds. The Coachman. Symphony of the Night fans will recognize the dialogue used by the mysterious Coachman who was found in the Garden of Silence, as it's almost verbatim what the ferryman spoke to Alucard upon finding him in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Sure enough, he does take you to someplace interesting after you've cleared the way for him. The Orbital Wheel. Read one of the bookcase articles found in the Garden of Silence, and you'll find a special weapon move specifically for lance weapons whose input is identical to Eric Licard's spinning spear move from Castlevania Bloodlines. While it's not the exact same executed animation movement, it's still a nice little nod. Vengence quests. When you speak to Lindsay about the multitude of people whose deaths she'd like you to avenge, be sure to take a look at the names on the list. Half of them are names of Castlevania characters, including Dr. Simon, Annette, Lisa, Rosalie, Matthias, Dario, and Soliu. In my opinion, this is probably the most blatant Castlevania reference in the game, and I'm sure Iga had a little smirk on his face when he was slipping them in. Master Not-Alucard Librarian. If you travel towards the topmost part of this area, you'll find a strange person with a very familiar voice and character model. This is OD, who not only looks like a palette swap of Alucard and is a vampire, but also has the same angled shoulder stance as Alucard's sprite in Symphony of the Night, and in fact, Alucard's voice actor, Robert Belgrade. It's actually one of the several homages to Soten in this room, as it's not only an item library that serves a similar purpose as the Master Librarians, but it even has the gap under the chair that you can use to super jump under and lift OD up. Sadly, it doesn't drop anything though. Revenant Simon. If you manage to gain the Warhorse key, you can open the Warhorse door in the Garden of Silence and fight the Revenant optional boss, which shamelessly is a zombie version of Simon Belmont, complete with whip and sub-weapons. If you manage to absorb his shard, you gain the ability to throw boomerangs a la any Belmont protagonist in Castlevania. Not-Alucard Battle. You can actually fight OD if you complete 99% of the map and obtain the Tome of Conquest from him. If you do not return it before venturing too far into the Glacial Tomb, he'll accuse you of borrowing it for too long and initiate battle. His moveset is, unsurprisingly, like Alucard's from Symphony of the Night, complete with Mist Form and several spells. Good luck with fighting him, too. Iga Battle. If you nab the game's DLC, you gain an extra quest from Lindsay in Arvantville, Avenge the Death of Julius, which opens up the option to backtrack to where you fought Jeeble, and instead will fight the self-inserted Igarashi. Not only does the quest give yet another nod to a Castlevania Belmont character, but Iga's moveset is much like Dracula's from Soten and Beyond, with the added bonus of his materializing a wine glass and throwing it to the ground like a holy water attack. There are a ton of other things within the game that will be familiar to Castlevania fans, such as weapon and armor names being reused from previous Vanias, and a good chunk of the enemy names being taken straight from the Ars Goetia and regional mythology. While no doubt having to be careful about just how much he could slip in without provoking the wrath of Konami, Igarashi shows yet again his love of the Castlevania series with these nice little nods, even if he might not be working on them anymore. Did I miss any additional Easter eggs or nods to Castlevania and Bloodstained? Please be sure to let me know in the comments. If future modes of the game reveal additional references, I will be sure to follow up on this video with more. Thanks for watching.